you remember in the beginning where I told you that there was this false binary, of masculine male and feminine female, and anything that transgressed that binary was transgender? Well, there's a false binary in sexual orientation too, between straight and gay, and anything that transgresses that false binary can be thought of as queer.
Queer can be, it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is or your romantic orientation. To me, it's about the way you determine bodies and sexuality and genders in the world. And if you have a very binary view of the way bodies function in both sex and in the world, as women are something, they have sex like this, and they only sleep with men like this, then that's very heteronormative and not queer. But straight people can totally be queer if they're women do whatever, men do whatever, they sleep with whoever, it doesn't matter. And that to me is queer, is just meaning that we stop caring about those boundaries or knowing that they exist.
Mostly from older gay lesbian persons, because for such a long time it was a derogatory word. Kind of the thing about the younger, I'm gonna say, queer movement is that whereas before it was gay, lesbian, one or the other, it was very specific about what you could identify as. And queer is all of those things, it's none of those things. It's if you can identify as a gay person but also identify as queer. You can identify as absolutely none of those things. You can identify as all of them. There are different points in my life and in any given day where I identify as each individual letter of the alphabet.
Okay. About 7 years ago, in our efforts to be inclusive, the acronym started to grow. It started to grow into an alphabet soup. So instead of gay and lesbian, it became LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. Then we added intersex, questioning, asexual, and what happened is it got very cumbersome as an acronym that didn't actually spell a word.
GLBTTQQIIAAP.
And so we needed one umbrella term to call ourselves. And it really doesn't matter what umbrella you pick. We can call the Linda Hunts. We're all the Linda Hunts. That's gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender right there. Anyway, but what happened is at the same time that this need was happening, media was coming back. There was a television show called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, which you may remember. There was also a television show called Queer as Folk, okay, that was adopted from British television and brought over to America. And around the same time that the need for this umbrella term arose. And it got reclaimed as rhetoric, this happens in almost every group of oppressed people, that there is reclaimed rhetoric. That's why it's not okay for me to say the N-word in certain racial circumstances, but members of the African American community sometimes use that word as reclaimed rhetoric. And there's a debate within that community about whether it's okay, and there's a debate within this community about whether it's okay. But the phenomenon of reclaimed rhetoric happens in almost every oppressed group, and queer is a reclaimed rhetoric term, okay?